This is the Exact Marketing Advice podcast where we go on a road trip state by state, learning how marketing agencies are finding success in every region of the country. I'm Paul Funk of Exact Marketing, and I'm talking to Matt Rouse of Hook Digital Marketing this morning. Matt, welcome. Please tell us about Hook Digital Marketing and where you're based out of.
Sure. Thanks, Paul. So our company started in Hillsboro, Oregon, which is kind of on the west side of Portland.
Mhm.
And originally, my business partner and I both lived in Hillsboro, and we had separately kind of side jobs doing marketing work for years, and we were both IT contractors. Um, we both worked at Intel and tech systems and Nike and data centers and stuff like that. And we were collaborating on a bunch of clients. And after, one day we were just like, if we just put all this together, we don't have to go do IT work anymore. We can just work for ourselves, right?
Yeah.
So anyways, that's how we started doing that. And we formalized it in 2014. So we're about 11 years in now. But that said, since then, we both actually moved, but we still have our agency in Portland. So Scott now lives in Costa Rica, and I live in Canada, and
Wow.
our agency is in the United States. We do have a Canadian Hook Digital Marketing Canada as well. That's based out of Nova Scotia.
Wow.
Um, but as you were saying about you know being successful in Oregon, I think, and this goes for anywhere, is I actually heard this like really early on. I was very lucky. And somebody said, if you're having problems, getting sales or getting attention for your business, start in your own backyard first and work your way out.
Yeah. Great
So I
advice.
looked at who's in like my neighborhood, like not even who's in Hillsboro, which is, only 100,000 people, but it was like who's down the street, right?
Yeah.
And we looked at all the businesses, and I found out that the Hillsborough Chamber of Commerce, which is now the Washington County Chamber of Commerce, was maybe half a mile from my house. And so I just walked in there one day and I was like, "Hey, we have a business, we do this, you know, how can we help you?" And they're like, "Oh, we have some events, you should come meet some people."
Right.
And that was kind of the start of getting into business networking for us. And from there, we kind of built it up as it goes. But I think that that was probably the earliest, greatest lesson was, learning to sell in your own backyard first before you try and get huge amounts of people or large markets or any of that stuff. Who's right next door who you can sell to?
That is terrific information. I'm sure all of our listeners can appreciate it and sounds very doable.
It is. You know what? And we repeated it because we have business in Costa Rica where my business partner lives, and we have an agency out of Nova Scotia now that I started from nothing here. So
Tremendous.
just you could just go out in your own backyard and start meeting people.
Well, Matt, it's my pleasure already to meet you. Very interesting. Very interesting. Hey, just a couple of other work-related questions. What do you feel was your most successful channel or platform for your agencies last year?
I would say that referrals are definitely our bread and butter.
Mhm.
And I don't mean that in the way that most companies mean referrals, which is just people happen to refer them if they do a good job sometimes. We actively go after referrals and we encourage them heavily. And we have systems in place that we use to help generate more referral traffic. A good example of that is it's called gifting in the real estate industry,
Mhm.
which is giving thoughtful, interesting gifts to your partners, your clients, your vendors, everybody around you basically that's connected to your business and thanking them for being a part of your business. And that keeps you top of mind and says, this person cares about the connection we have to their business. And that is a high, high determiner of if you're going to get a referral from that person or not.
Wow, quite a traditional approach in this digital world that we're operating within.
It is. And you know what? You stand out, right? If you want to stand out from everybody in the digital world, go offline.
Terrific. Great advice, Matt. I love that. Um, so, do you have an area that you're focusing on this year?
So this year, we're releasing a new SaaS product that we built. It's called SMB Autopilot, and it is very specific tool for local search rankings for businesses that either have a physical location or a service area. So it's a hyper specific tool, mostly for mom and pop shops, retail stores, tradespeople. And when you do a search and that map pack comes up on Google, where it's got the businesses, three businesses down the side, maybe an ad or two,
Of
and the
course.
map on the right,
Yes.
it is specifically made to improve rankings in that one part of search. And that tool is, I think, as far as I've found, is one of a kind because there are other local search tools, but ours is what we call it AI plus human. So the AI has a whole system of checks that it has to go through to
Mhm.
determine what do we need to do to improve the ranking for this business. And then it assigns tasks to humans as needed. So
Wow.
instead of the human going and trying to figure everything out, the AI system goes through and checks everything, makes all the decisions. And then if it gets confused or it doesn't know the answer or it needs something done, then it sends that to our staff, to the right people, so that the human can go in and do that work, the important human work. And we get this kind of best of both worlds approach. But the thing I really like about it is that it's called autopilot for a reason. It's like a magic button. So
Hmm.
you go in, let's say you're an electrician, you go into our system, you sign up, you tell us where your business is. The system does everything else every month, and you don't have to touch it.
Wow.
And it improves rankings over time.
So this is a custom product that you have developed.
Yes, with our 10 plus years of SEO work.
Yes.
I didn't put it in, when we had talked, but way back in, let me see if I have it. I wrote Crush SEO, learn to market your local business back in 2015.
Wow.
So
10 years ago.
10 years ago, I
Yeah.
wrote basically the local marketing Bible for Google. And what we've done is we've taken, all our research and everything we've found that works and used to work in the past. And Google changes, they move the goalposts all the time.
Absolutely.
So our idea is let's just make sure that everything's done, regardless if Google says it's a good idea or not. Make sure that everything is right, everything's up to date, everything is the way it should be. And it so far always works. We've only tested on about a dozen businesses, but we've seen high results for like one example is we had a defense attorney
Hmm.
in a fairly a medium-sized US city in an area with hundreds of competitors go from 13th position to first position for the word defense attorney. So without them doing anything, this the system doing its own work.
Jeez, this is amazing to me, kind of mind blowing and very specific. Um, how do you put this in front of new clients, or how do you get clients to buy it from you?
Well, that's kind of the thing that we're working on, right? Because that's the next step. Like we've
Okay.
got the system and it works with our
Yeah.
existing clients. We said, "Hey, you want to try this out?" kind of thing.
Yeah.
So far though, I found and a lot of this is by design, right? Is I go to somebody who owns a business. I met with a guy the other day, he's a surgeon, and he also has three other businesses on the side that he runs.
Hmm.
And he says, I got this local business and we're not getting anything. And we did some testing and we looked at it and we said, well, you're not ranking in the top three, so nobody's finding you. So you got two options, right? You run ads
Yep.
or you try this out. And our system's cheaper than ads. So he's like, let's give it a shot. He's like, so tell me what I got to do. And I'm like, you don't have to do anything. We'll put all your information in and you just sign up with your credit card and it does all the work. And he's like, it does all the work and I don't have to do anything. you know, this is the magic button, right? That's what I want. And 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 I don't want to go too off topic here,
Yes.
and this is not specifically about this product,
Right.
right? Our agency over the last 10 years, almost from day one, we discovered that I would say three things. Number one, nobody wants to read your reports.
Of course.
Number two is they want it to work, but they don't want to know how it works.
Right.
And number three is they want to focus on what they're good at, and they honestly don't care about what you're doing. They care that the phone's ringing, right?
I
It doesn't
couldn't.
matter which business it is. When I say the phone ringing, it might be email, it might be lead gen, it might whatever, right? However they get customers, they want that working, and they don't really care about all that other stuff, right? And you'll get one person here and there who's like reads a report, but you know, like how much of the internet and email is full of reports that nobody even opens, right?
Yeah, of course. Yeah,
Um,
absolutely. You every day. That's an everyday occurrence. Have you looked at that? Do you know where your leads
right.
are coming from? No, I hadn't had a chance.
You send somebody instructions like here's how to solve your problem. Here's the instructions. Then they still have the same problem next month. It's because they didn't read the instructions, right? Nobody
Right.
has time to do any of this stuff.
Yeah, I
So you either
completely
have to do it for them, right?
right.
Or you have to summarize it, which everybody's going to have everything summarized anyway,
Yes.
because they're going to use Apple Intelligence on their phone, or they're going to have Chat GPT, or, whatever, Gemini connected up to their email.
Yep.
And they're going to go into the email, and there's going to be a report there from, from your agency or whatever, sends them a report on their web traffic. And the AI is going to automatically summarize it. And it's going to say, your traffic's up 11% and your conversion rate's down 2% and whatever. They're going to read that and they're going to be like, okay, I got it. They're not going to open it,
Yeah.
right?
Agree. Wow. Well, I can't wait to hear what you're working on next. That sounds extremely exciting.
Well, I mean, that is going to be a big one for us. I'm also writing a new book right now. So I wrote the book Will AI Take My Job, which is this
Right.
one.
Yes.
I'm writing Will AI Take My Job Too, with a two on the end, because this book I wrote uh, in October of 2023, so it came out. So it's over a year out of date,
Yes.
which is forever in AI time.
Hmm.
So anyways, I'm redoing the book with a bunch of new statistics, on how workplaces are changing, um, AI adoption rates, as well as some better explanations of how AI systems work and stuff like that. Without, I put a little less tech information, a little more like kind of understandable metaphors in it for people.
Hmm.
And man, we are in times they are changing, right? The age of AI, it is something to see.
Without question. Without question. Hey, kind of shifting the line of questionings. Is there an obstacle you'd like to eliminate this year? Something that you're ready to leave behind.
I had tons of obstacles to eliminate. That I would say that half of my job right now is trying to eliminate tasks that we don't need.
Hmm.
And it's not about like reducing, staff headcount or anything like that for us, because we have almost no people anyway. We run on essentially six people, and
Wow.
we've got about 120 clients all said and done between all the agencies.
Mm.
So we're very efficient with our time. And I think if you want to run an agency that's still going to be here 5 years from now, you have to really adopt, number one, you have to adopt automation, because you cannot be as productive as somebody who has a bunch of automated systems working with them.
Right.
And you also have to kind of have a good eye for what is something that needs a human involved and what is something that could be automated.
Ooh, very good.
That's very tough, right? A
Mhm.
lot of people say the first thing they want to do is, automate client outreach, which is a terrible idea, or
Right.
automate sales, which is also a terrible idea for most businesses, right?
Hmm.
Uh, because there's not an AI out there who can outsell a human right now. So why are you putting an AI in that position?
Yeah.
But when it comes to something like customer support for an e-commerce site, we're using an application called Van Chat on our Shopify site, and it it answers like 96% of queries in less than 5 seconds. It's absolutely amazing. It's a game changer. That used to be us typing all day to people, right? When they're messaging us. Now we can focus on, the agency. We have a Shopify store for e-commerce store because we like to show, hey, you know what? Not only do we know how to do marketing, here's our own store where we do that same stuff for ourselves and it's profitable.
Right.
Right.
Wow. So cool. So, assuming you want to continue to grow and you've already got 120 clients and there's only 6 humans, do you feel that this automation is the key aspect of that future growth?
100%.
Yeah.
Um, our our plan right now is to bring on maybe a total of 2 more staff as what I would say to complete our system.
Yes.
And that's going to run, all 5 of our businesses uh, with, 8 people. And essentially everything else is going to be done by agents, which are, AI systems that can at least semi-autonomously do work on their own.
Hmm.
And these systems like compute from OpenAI is about to be released. It's coming out. We also use something called Sim Theory. It's a computer use agent where you can basically tell it what to do, and it has a virtual desktop, like a computer of its own, and it can go do its own thing, fill out forms for you, and you know, go book your restaurant reservation or look for your flights or your hotel or whatever. You just have it go do its task on its own.
Hmm.
And those are only going to get better over the next year or two. So we plan to, use those agents wherever we can to do kind of tasks that, I mean, honestly, most people don't want to do, right?
Right.
Like, nobody wants to be like a cog in the wheel of a machine that, they're just shuffling paper from one place to another all day.
Hmm.
I can have a machine do that and have my people do higher level tasks, Um,
Yeah.
and those kind of like nominal tasks, the repetitive grinding work that people have to do,
Yes.
that's, I call it stepping over $20 bills to pick up quarters, right?
Right.
If you were left alone to do the real work that's going to push your agency forward, your agency would move forward instead of you grinding out reports or, trying to come up with something new to say on Facebook.
Right. So, Matt, you said that you started the digital marketing agency Hook over 10 years ago.
Hmm.
What keeps you going today? It seems like you're having fun and seems like you're doing
Yeah.
interesting work. What's the motivator behind it?
Um, I mean, honestly, we really enjoy helping our clients that have like a powerful impact on their communities.
Mhm.
Um, we have one of our clients is Nagorny Cancer Institute, and they have a system that they developed over almost 40 years now, where they can do a personalized testing of people's cancer tumors and identify which drugs are more likely to kill their cancer and least likely to kill the patient, which
Hmm.
you think would be something everyone would be doing at this point, but they're the only people who do it.
Amazing.
And yeah, it's unbelievable like how much impact that has on people's lives. Like every week they're sending us like, here's an article about, somebody who was given 6 months to live and we found a combination of chemo drugs that cured them, you know.
Yeah.
And when you're having that kind of impact, it's really hard to say, yeah, maybe I should hang it up, go do something else.
Yeah, that is pretty positive to say the least. I really like that. So, Matt, today, what advice would you offer to other agencies if you'd like to offer advice to other agencies for staying relevant or looking to thrive and survive in this truly transformational time?
Yeah, I really think, I mean, a lot of agencies, especially on the creative side, are kind of AI haters. They see the generative AI stuff and they say, well, that's not art or that's a plagiarism machine or something. But what they're not looking at is there is there is an underlying model to AI systems, and what they're looking at is the training for the model and the interface to the model. and not what can the system do separate from those things. So if you go to ChatGPT,
Mhm.
ChatGPT is not AI. ChatGPT is the typing interface that you type to it and it types back to you. It's like the equivalent of the difference between your mouth and your ears and your brain. The AI model is the brain. ChatGPT is the interface to talk to and get information back from the brain, right? The brain itself has way more capability than just talking back and forth to you with text, right?
Right. Hmm.
So I think there's some very, very simple use cases if you combine AI and an automation system that you can get incredibly powerful and time saving results. And I could give you one super easy example.
I'd love one. Yes.
I have a system that's similar to Zapier. It's called Pabbly Connect. Um, we use it because it's a one-time purchase. So $200, you get to use it for life instead of paying, Zapier $70 a month. Anyway, every 3 hours it checks if we posted a blog on one of our client sites. And if we have, it takes the blog, it extracts the URL, it pulls the text of the blog, summarizes it, checks the length to make sure it's the right length for a Twitter post or Blue Sky post, and then adds some emojis, changes up the language a little bit, posts it with the link automatically to both Twitter and Blue Sky. And so all we have to do is get the blog ready and publish it. And we don't have to go do social media because it's automatically taking what we wrote, summarizing it and posting it.
Sounds
And
tremendous.
that's one client, right?
Right. Right.
What if I got 10 of those clients, right? And now I got 10 clients. And not only that, we're using the AI system to help us edit the blogs. And a lot of times people are like, I, they're called one-shotting, right? They're like one-shotting the AI. They're like, write me a blog about Adirondack chairs,
I'm guilty.
right? But what they're not doing is here's 10 blogs that are the most popular ones this company has ever produced, right? We want you to write something about this same topic using the same kind of language and iteration and alliteration that we use in these blogs. And then it'll write it and then give it to your human editor to fix it up and then go post it and then have the AI summarize it and post it on the social media. And it doesn't mean you can't post other social media that's not from the AI, but this one thing, say it used to take us half an hour to do that. I got 10 clients. Now it's 5 hours. That's 5 hours a month that my people are going to do something else.
Right. Sounds amazing. And I want to be sure that everyone heard this tool. Could you say it again and
Oh
possibly
yeah, it was called Pabbly Connect. It's Pabbly.
Pabbly Connect?
Yes.
Awesome.
And you can also use like Zoho Flow if you have a company that uses Zoho as like your CRM and stuff and billing system. They have Zoho Flow, which is the same as Zapier. There's some other alternatives as well. It's not that I don't like Zapier; it's a great product. I like to pay less every month. The burn rate slower, and it depends how much you need, right?
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, we use Pabbly Connect. We use Zoho Flow. Like another great one that we have is um, we have for an e-commerce store, they have a fulfillment center, and somebody has to go to the fulfillment center, see what's been fulfilled, copy and paste all of the tracking numbers back into Shopify.
Hmm.
So we have an automation that pulls that and another one that pulls all the orders, and then the AI goes through and matches them all up and puts the tracking numbers in for us. And then
Wow.
we don't have to do it, right? So anytime that you can automate this stuff, and some of it you don't need AI to do, but it's easier. Uh, I mean, all that automation, if you're not doing it and somebody else's agency is doing it, then you're going to have a problem, right?
Absolutely. Matt, I'm learning so much. I feel like I'm at school this morning. Thank you. Um, is there anything else you'd like to share with listeners before we wrap it up?
Yeah, I mean, I think that one of the biggest problems a lot of people have in the agency world over time that I hear people have is they kind of get isolated in doing their work. And I think you need to be out there talking to people, right? And I live in the middle of nowhere. I live in like southwestern Nova Scotia. The nearest town to me has 500 people in it. But go to the coffee shop, get yourself a coffee or cappuccino or a tea or something, do your work, chat with people,
Yeah.
go out, go on some podcasts, go meet Paul Funk,
Yes,
right?
absolutely.
Get out there and, it really helps. And you can get another opinion from people. You meet nice people. It's all great.
I just love the exchange of information, and you never know what you're going to learn. And this
That's
is
right.
a great case in point. Matt, I can't thank you enough for all this information. It's tremendous, and we will share it out. Thanks again. This was Matt Rouse from Hook Digital Marketing and Paul Funk from Exact Marketing. Take care.